Just when you thought it was safe to rent a killer shark movie, the stock footage shark is back. Welcome to Sick Flicks, where I take a deep dive into the cinematic sewer to help you embrace your inner gore geek. I'm Mike Bracken, aka the Horror Geek, and today we're tackling Joe D'Amato's Jaws ripoff, Deep Blood. Released in 1989, Deep Blood is another in a long line of Italian Jaws clones. This one has more in common with 1987's equally dreadful Jaws the Revenge than Spielberg's classic, but hey, it's Joe D'Amato. How bad can it be?
Don't believe everything you see.
Turns out, pretty bad, but that's not going to keep me from sharing this cinematic atrocity with you.
I hate you with all my heart and all my soul. I wish you had got eaten by that shark.
Can Deep Blood chomp its way to 5 barf bags? Let's get to the gore and find out. Oh, and before we get started, this week's video is brought to you by patrons Harlan Silling, AJ Bonine, and DrumGuy76. Apologies if I butchered anyone's name. If you want to help sponsor a video, sign up for my Patreon. You'll find a link in the pinned comment and description below. Now that we've got that out of the way, everyone hop in the water. We fade in on this wiener. Wait, is this a Joe D'Amato cannibal movie or a killer shark movie? I'm already confused. And here's the title. Deep Blood. That doesn't even make sense. I mean, this could be a killer shark movie, or it could be an erotic thriller where Shannon Tweed is an undercover cop trying to solve a murder at a vampire strip club. Really, the alternate title, Blood in the Abyss, was a lot better. I'll give D'Amato this, deciding to open the film with a wiener roast and not, a killer shark attack is a bold move. Let's see if it pays off for him. How the hell did they get Charlie Brill and Mitzi McCall in this movie? Screenplay by George Nelson Ott, who never wrote anything else. I smell a D'Amato or Luigi Montefiore pseudonym, but I can't prove it. And directed by Ralph Donato. That's not a D'Amato pseudonym. Donato worked with D'Amato, say that 5 times fast, and wanted to direct. Joe gave him the job here, Donato filmed a scene or two, and then decided he really didn't want to direct. D'Amato made the rest of the film.
Ralph De Palma e l'ho fatto io. Quello è il fatto di cambiare nome perché in qualche modo per non inflazionare sempre il nome, quindi creare...
Anyway, wiener eating is interrupted when this Native American shows up to remind them not to litter. Man, if you get that joke, you really are old. Not gonna lie, Malcolm X was more Native American than this dude. Then he starts telling a story.
This is a time of magic, written in the sky.
Look at this kid. He's like, oh Christ, here we go. Also, this may be the only time in history someone's used a ballpark frank as a sun shield. So, I tied an onion to my belt, which was the style at the time. Anyway, the real story is some nonsense about magical warriors or something.
That sky is a haven for all our great warriors.
I thought this was a shark movie. This kid's like, hey, I think this homeless guy is high. Eventually, they're like, this story is never gonna end. Time to enact our suicide pact. Then he gives them this weird hunk of wood. Why would a Native American give his tribe's precious heirloom to a bunch of random white kids? Hell if I know, let's just roll with it. And they complete the ritual by burying it in 6 inches of sand. I'm sure no one will ever find it. Then we jump over here to Joe D'Amato's Caddyshack. Remember, Danny, 2 wrongs don't make a right, but 3 rights make a left. Man, this really is Joe D'Amato's Caddyshack.
My parents just want to see me graduate, so?
Well, you know what they say, the world needs ditch diggers too. And we interrupt this Caddyshack knockoff to bring you an episode of MASH. Man, we could have had like 4 Christ-I'm-old jokes in this video already. Over here at the airport, Fletch is checking out the stuck Fetzer valve. It's all ball bearings these days. I'm gonna need 10 quarts of antifreeze, preferably Prestone. Now that we've got all the important stuff out of the way, I guess we better get to a shark attack. I mean, this is a killer shark movie. Little Alex Kintner here decides to do some snorkeling while Mom's gonna float around and work on her burgeoning case of skin cancer. Oh, sweet Jesus. This kid is basically swimming in his aquarium. You can see the walls. Glad to see we spared no expense on Deep Blood. Ocean. Aquarium. Continuity is hard. There are literally paintings on the wall of this tank that's supposed to be the ocean. And you can tell that's not Mom on the raft. That's like some dude wearing a Speedo. And just when you thought it was safe to float in the water, the savage shark perspective camera attacks. Looks like someone dumped a tanker truck of cherry Kool-Aid into the pool here. Oh yeah. And over at Police HQ, Sheriff Cody has spared no expense on his re-election campaign. Christ, did they just print out his mugshot on a dot matrix printer for this thing or what? Oh Jesus, he's like a sweaty Archie Bunker. Now the picture makes sense. Anyway, if you're wondering why we're here and who these people are, I'm just as lost as you are. Oh wait, it's just so Poseidon here can get his harpoon back.
Forgot you tried. Boy, don't you need a permit for this thing?
I was gonna make a pun here, but I'll spear you. Before they can head out, Budget Antonio Sabato Jr. brings in little Alex Kintner. Wait, that might actually be Antonio Sabato Jr. Don't worry, the sheriff has a plan.
Then run over to the drugstore and get the kid a soda or maybe something to eat. Hell, get him drunk, make him talk.
Maybe get him an 8-ball and a few hookers too. Look, I don't know what these kids are into these days. And since this movie can't seem to make up its mind where it's going, now we're riding with these two dorks.
Get him drunk and make him talk. Come on, man, speed up. The guys will be back anytime.
Eventually, this turns into a road rage incident. Dude better be careful before Poseidon here grabs his harpoon and gives him the shaft.
Yeah, well, the sheriff said it's always open season on E.
Then they all pull over. This dude is like budget Nick Cage. What's up with his walk? Next thing you know, a fight breaks out. It's like Redneck West Side Story. Joke's on you, pal. Apparently, Joe D'Amato got bored of this storyline, so we're over here at Benny's house. He has a heart-to-heart with Dad.
You're planning to go back to business school, I hope.
I really like to play golf, Dad.
He wants Dad to take him fishing?
Hey, let's you and I go fishing.
But there's a problem.
Since Jimmy's death, I just can't go back out to sea again.
Yeah, I told Jimmy not to fight that octopus. He was too well armed. But Jimmy never listened, and now he's swimming with the fishes. 45 minutes to write a joke that bad. That's how dedicated I am. And if you haven't figured it out yet, all these random dorks are the grown-up version of the 4 dorks at the start of the movie.
You guys ready for the big cookout tonight?
Uh-huh.
We're roasting wieners, just like old times. Man, are we ever gonna get to some stock footage shark action? Come on, Joe D'Amato. At least we're headed in the right direction as Dad and Benny are out here on the water. They're gonna need a bigger boat.
So, we gonna catch anything here today, Dad?
I don't know, maybe a cold. Then he gets a bite, and I'm no fish expert, but there's something funny about this catch. Look, I'm really trying to scale back on the fish puns here. Meanwhile, these two are going snorkeling. And it looks like Bob is about finished, because the stock footage shark is here. It attacks, and Mickey basically just stands there and watches. So long, Bob. You are a real chum. Also, all this blood is on the surface. I was promised deep blood. For whatever reason, the cop isn't convinced this is real. Something about this story sounds fishy. But he heads out to investigate. I'm guessing he's not going to find the shark on land. Probably thinks he's looking for a loan shark. Then Officer Archie Bunker shows up to talk to the kids.
In 1966 in Saigon.
Christ, is he related to Walter Sobchak? Is everything a Nom story?
Nice story, Sheriff.
Hey, stifle it, Edith. Afterwards, Mickey is out here doing his best Otis Redding impression. Do you kids even remember Otis Redding? Christ, I'm old. Meanwhile, Sheriff Cody is still looking for a shark in all the wrong places. Guessing it's not in this lab either. Maybe try a bar. Might find a pool shark at least. But Budget Dom DeLuise here does have some news. This was no boating accident. And then we jump over here to Shark Patrol. And if this helicopter and stock shark footage looks familiar to you, it's because Bruno Mattei stole it and spliced it into Cruel Jaws. Back on shore, the Macho Man, Randy Savage, is ready to take over. You guys got the shark? Oh yeah. Man, my Randy Savage impression still sucks. Down at the dock, they're hauling in the shark. Oh hey, remember the Indian guy? Yeah, he's still in this movie. He apparently hasn't aged a day.
Don't believe everything you see.
Then, just in case you didn't hear him the first time.
Don't believe everything you see.
Yeah, thanks, got it, I'm not deaf. Then Mickey and Dad have a showdown.
Now you listen to me, you punk. Here comes some truth. You're not gonna blame your mother's death on me. She was a drunk.
Whoa, wait, where the hell did this plot thread come from? Jesus, I just want to watch a terrible-looking plastic shark eat people, Joe D'Amato.
Vaffanculo.
Also, Mickey might be the worst actor in Sick Flicks history this side of Connie Mason. I've seen zip guns with more range than this kid.
You drove her crazy. You didn't take care of her. If you didn't run around so much, maybe she would have never started drinking.
Although Dad here is pretty terrible too.
Now you listen to me, you punk. Here comes some truth.
I really have to say, for a movie about a killer shark, Deep Blood sure spends a lot of time on land.
Stories of monsters eating whole villages.
At any rate, Mickey's not buying the caught shark is the culprit. How does he know? Because he racial profiled it.
That was the wrong shark out there. The shark that killed John had a black dorsal fin.
Over at the beach, this random bartender and Morton Downey Jr. are having relationship problems.
I've been putting me on for over a year now. I just can't take it anymore.
I can't either, baby.
And apparently problems telling time, because it's the middle of the afternoon.
Come on, baby, let's go. It's late. I've got to get home.
She heads out for a swim under the cover of Blue Filter mid-afternoon, but she's not alone. Our stock-footed shark is on the prowl. Man, you thought my videos were poorly edited. Morton Downey Jr., ever the hero, just drives off. Mickey gets taken in by the cops for disturbing the peace, and man, I wish we were watching RoboCop. Released on his own recognizance, he then crashes the debutante ball to remind everyone of the blood oath they took with the old Indian.
The blood oath we took years ago with the Indian. I saw that same Indian today. You think I'm crazy, don't you?
No, I mostly think you're a terrible actor. Benny's like, look man, I'd really like to help, but I have a 9 a.m. tea time. If they're gonna find the shark, they're gonna need a boat. So they enlist Benny's dad. Out on the water, Alan's like, man, this chum smells awful. Then Dad reveals his master plan.
Blow them bastards right out of the water.
He's gonna blow the shark up with dynamite. Although, since they're on the ocean, this might be C4. C4. That's good. Hard to believe this show is free. They cast their line, and the shark takes the bait. Ah yeah, finally, something I can sink my teeth into. And he steals the bait. Great, that was $50 worth of pot roast and $400 worth of dynamite. That's coming out of your allowance, Benny. But don't worry, Mickey has a backup plan. He brought this stupid chunk of wood that the Indian gave them. Maybe they can bludgeon the shark to death with it. Or smoke it like a peace pipe. Benny's dad is like, wait a minute, this is a giant kazoo. We are so fucked. And why are all these people watching from shore? Shouldn't you go way out in the water to find a giant shark? Then Sheriff Cody shows up. I love that his defining character trait in this film is basically sweating. He finds out what's going on and is all like, damn it, they're fishing without a license. Back on the boat, Dad's yanking on his stick.
Hell yeah.
No, not like that, you pervs. I mean the stick that drives the boat. They're stuck.
It's a trawl line off some fishing boat. She's knotted around the blade like a 10-pound watermelon.
This doesn't even make sense. Wouldn't a propeller just basically puree a 10-pound watermelon? Whatever. This just means Dad's gotta go in the water. While he's diving, he spots this sunken toy ship, which was also a part of Cruel Jaws. Recycling is important, kids. Don't look now, but the stock-footed shark is back. He's about to eat a dad hors d'oeuvre, but Pops gets away. Then the fishing expedition is cut short when the Coast Guard shows up. No fishing without a license. Get to shore immediately. Back on shore, Sheriff Cody shows up to sweat some more. I bet that cloth he's always using smells like Funyuns and old cheese. Look, Benny's dad, I'm gonna give you a warning this time, but if I catch you fishing without a license again, I'm gonna have to run you in. Back on shore, we're treated to this masterclass in acting.
You know, I get the feeling that this thing with your friends is so much more important than me.
Yeah, I mean, your relationship seems way more important than stopping a shark that's eating the townies. Way to have your priorities in order. And now Mickey and Budget Nick Cage are BFFs.
Come on, man.
And they just so happen to know a guy who can make them explosives.
Here it is. You sure it's gonna work? You bet it will.
I feel like this script gave up about 40 minutes ago and is just floundering to the finish line. And the late 80s were clearly a magical time where you could just load up your truck with boxes of dynamite and no one cared. Oh, and somewhere Jimmy Walker is smiling. I don't even know why they need all of this. They have the magical kazoo. They get ready to dive, and if you've seen the end of Cruel Jaws, you know what we're in for, since that movie basically stole this movie's ending. And apparently we're going to watch them dive down here in real time so we can pad the runtime a bit. Seriously, this has been going on for like 10 minutes. I get it, Joe, they're gonna blow up the wreck. This is not a complicated plot point. Yeah, still putting the dynamite into place. And swimming through an aquarium. Is there even a shark in this movie? Look out, Ben's got a hair stuck on his stock footage binoculars. 45 minutes later, everyone makes it back to the surface except for young Nick Cage. He's trapped in the rubble. And the shark is here, so of course Mickey dives right in and saves Nick. What a hero. The shark's like, I see you in there, come on, open up. Mickey makes it back topside and then they set off the detonation. Yeah, that looks just as shitty as it did in Cruel Jaws. Then they're like, alright boys, let's go cook some wieners. But before the celebration can begin, Sheriff Cody shows up with a citation. Oh, I can't arrest those boys, Antonio. They just love fishing. Now fetch me my sweat cloth. And man, I'm sure glad the Magic Kazoo was so vital to the plot. Thank God they had it since it did absolutely nothing. Look, Mitzi McCall was Ben's Mather. I know we give Bruno Mattei a lot of shit on this show, but let's be honest. Cruel Jaws is actually a better viewing experience than Deep Blood. Cruel Jaws revels in its ridiculousness, while Deep Blood commits the cardinal sin of actually thinking it's a serious film. It's not serious, but it is pretty dull for most of the runtime, which is disappointing for a Joe D'Amato flick. It's also not particularly gory. There's no way this one is getting 5 barf bags, but can it fish up a respectable score? Let's go to the gore card. In terms of gross anatomy, Deep Blood is disappointing. We get 3 stock footage shark attacks and the dreadful exploding shark at the end, and that's it. We don't even get a fake shark head or anything. Oh, and there's no Deep Blood either. Because of that, this one gets a 0 barf bag rating. People flailing around and pulls a cherry Kool-Aid intercut with mismatched documentary footage is not good enough to actually earn a barf bag. What a disappointment. Want to see an Italian Jaws ripoff that's actually fun despite being mind-numbingly stupid? Then be sure to check out my review of Cruel Jaws. You'll find a link here on the screen shortly after my outtakes. Until next time, I'm Mike Bracken, aka The Horror Geek, bringing you all the splatter that matters. I smell a D'Amato or Ligi Montefiore. Anyway, Wienerini. Ooh. Christ, did they just print out his mugshot on a dot matrix? Why can't I say dot matrix? And then we jump over here to Shark Patrol. And if this helicopter and stock shark... that's easy for you to say. Christ, did they just print out his mugshot on a dot matrix? God damn, these words are hard. And if this helicopter and stock shark... Boy, that's really not easy to say. She heads out for a swim under the cover of Blue Filter mid-afternoon, but she's not alone. Our stock footage... Don't try this at home, kids. I'm a professional. They cast their lawn. Lord, I need a new throat. So close to the end. Let's just hold it together. She heads out for a swim under the cover of Blue Filter mid-afternoon, but she's not alone. Our stock footage... Man, start a YouTube channel, they said. It'll be great, they said.